Enlighten us on what this particular course is for, and then we'll get into the defined things of it.
Okay, so the Intro to Coaching course is a new initiative. It is geared towards those individuals who have no prior coaching education training. So that could be existing coaches who have been coaching without coaching education, parents, PE teachers, anybody who's interested to begin moving down the pathway and moving forward and getting a little bit more insight into the mythology of coaching.
Now, Mr. President, for the Bermuda Football Association, come September, a lot of policies come into effect as far as coaching education and coaching licenses. You have this as a starting base that starts this time. Where are we situated as far as having people qualified to the standard of the Bermuda Football Association for come September?
Well, actually, this process has been going on for about 2 years. So it's been a 2-year window where coaches can get the appropriate license for the level of coaching that they want to coach at. So we have 4 levels of coaching license, A, B, C, and D, and that those levels correlate to different levels of football within Bermuda. So all senior coaches, for example, need to have a B license in order to coach. And the D, as Richard has said, the D license, the Bermuda D license is for those coaches who are just started and are coaching at the what we call children's football level. It's a fantastic step for us to see the amount of coaches who have taken advantage of coach education over the last two years and beyond that, and even now for coaches who are now gearing themselves to applying for their license and hopefully being able to obtain it.
Maurice, as the technical director for the Bermuda Football Association, the value of having people with a license coaching at club level and at the academy level, how important is that?
The positive ripples of coach education are already being felt in Bermuda football. So this is a continuation of that process, and we're already in an upward trajectory. So this is going to continue to put us in good stead so that we can continue to see good development in our youth football.
Richard, the partnership or collaboration with the Bermuda Football Association and the and the Coaches Association must bode well, because now there's some continuity going forward, as understanding on how together, I guess, you want to move forward.
Yeah, I think one of the big positives is trying to unify the coaching fraternity, to bring us all together onto the same page, working towards the same goals. But then it also brings us closer together with the goals and the objectives of the association. So the association has outlined the coach licensing policy. As the partnership, it's the mandate of the Bermuda Football Coaches Association to provide those courses by which coaches can attain the proper license levels. So this course that's coming right now, the Intro to Coaching, it's a very diverse pool. We have 40 candidates, which is the maximum for the course. And it will have coaches who have been coaching in the club without prior coaching education. It has players who are looking to make that transition. It will have some parents and team managers who are seeking to gain a little bit more information and insight. So the response has been fantastic. We are at the point of being oversubscribed for this course, and we will offer another course again in August to ensure that every coach has had the opportunity to achieve the required licensing before August 31st deadline that is impacted.
As the president of the Bermuda Football Coaches Association, are you concerned at the number of coaches we have in the C, B, and A section?
I think it's growing. I think that we have a very good number. I mean, this course is piggybacking on the back of the C license, which also has 40 participants ongoing. They will finish their second part of the license in September. We're getting ready at the end of this month, the end of June, to start work again with the Scottish FA and courses on Island that are preparing another set of candidates for the UEFA B license. So the cycle is one that we are continuing to develop and to grow the number of coaches. We're looking forward to it. Again, it's a great initiative for us because this is the first time that we've offering this course. The course was designed by Jacques Courvoisier, utilizing the same materials and information that we have with the books. It meets the UEFA standards. And when we did cross-check with regards to the content of the CONCACAF D license, it is very similar, if not the same, in terms of the content. So from that standpoint, I think that we are being able to provide quality coaching education to our local coaches.
Mr. Wade, any provisions that the association are planning to make if the requirements come September are not met by persons trying to coach teams?
Well, at this point, there are no provisions. The deadline is what it is, but certainly the PDC will discuss that idea and see if there's something that we can do to assist.
During the season, is there any way, hypothetically, someone comes in who wants to be involved at a club level? They come here on a work permit but wants to get involved. Are there any provisions, Richard, for your organization to quickly get them on board with a license of some sort, just for beginners? Or are you just planning to do these two in the summer?
Well, what I would say is that the Bermuda Football Coaches Association is responsible for providing coaching education.
Mm-hmm.
So we provide the necessary courses. It is the BFA who then qualify the license level of the individual coaches. So there is a pyramid in the scheme that looks at existing experience, licenses that have been attained outside of Bermuda through other organizations that can qualify a coach here for the criteria of either a D, C, B, or A level. But our mandate is to provide the courses for coaching education. We then put forward those names to the BFA to say that they have completed the required education, and it is the BFA who will then certify them with a license level.
Maurice, in the National Academy setup, would you like to see all coaches obtain, say, an A license?
That's on our mandate now, or coming into effect just with coach licensing. So come September 2018, all National Academy coaches will be licensed at the UEFA B license. So we have quite a number of our academy staff that are on the current B license course that's coming up in June and September and October.
Right. With so much emphasis put on coaching education, can you see, Richard, your organization kind of putting on extra courses? And I say that in all facets because you're doing the C, and they have to finish it. Can we see more of those put in? Because hypothetically, there's 40, and the 40 before that would want to probably in the near future get a C license as well. So
yeah, there's some minimum requirements between moving along the license pathway. So that's not to say that a coach just comes in and has completed his D license and can immediately just go and enroll within the C license. So there's a minimum requirement to spend at least 1 year back within the club, utilizing that information and developing the skill set. Then a coach can then move forward to the next license level. However, if a coach has been evaluated and assessed to have passed a license with merit and meeting standard, then a recommendation could be given that they can enroll immediately within the next license course. So this is pretty standard with most of the license organizations throughout the world. So the C license, the next C license will be in effect for next March. And so we would have a good pool of candidates who are probably on that border ready to take that next step and move forward. And I know we will have a good number of candidates when we offer the next UEFA B in partnership with the Scottish FA. We'll be ready to now begin that journey as well. So we're always looking to bring new licenses, more coaching education. This was one of the initiatives of the new administration when we came in during the last AGM. The next step is plans in the works to provide goalkeeping education. So we are exploring that possibility right now with the Scottish FA to offer, in conjunction with the courses that will be on island in September, an opportunity to now start developing the specialists of the UEFA. Then there is ongoing coaching, education, and recertification credits that are required for those who have obtained the UEFA. So it's a continuous cycle. You just don't achieve a license and stop. You have to keep yourself current with new information. There are always special topics that are being presented, and coaches have to recertify themselves in order to have a valid license.
Who's charged with evaluating coaches once they're finished the particular course level? These 40 will go back to their clubs. Who's charged with evaluating to ensure that they're meeting what, or they're doing, accomplishing the things that they were taught or learned during the course?
Sure. So as the intro to coaching course, there is no formal testing because, again, this is an entry into the pathway. There is an assessment of the candidates. Once they go away and then they've had the prerequisite amount of time within the club, they can then feel comfortable enough to apply for the C license. In the C license, there is formal testing that the candidate must go through in order to complete the course and receive that diploma. The same as with the UEFA. The candidates must travel over to Scotland to be assessed by the coach educators from that standpoint. So the mechanism is kind of built in. We are exploring ongoing mentoring possibilities and roles in which we can engage the coaches and keep them active and continue to help them to grow. So we're always looking for those opportunities to be able to provide for our existing members.
Mr. President, how often do you meet with the Coaches Association just to go over some of the things, especially with the National Academy and the Premier and First Division coaches?
But the lines of communication are open in that the Coaches Association actually have a member on the PDC. So that's a continuous line of communication between the two organizations. The Coaches Association is also a full member of the BFA. So that's the lines of communication and working are fully established. And they have carte blanche, really, to the BFA, as any other affiliate does.
Are you working on your A? I know you have. Do you have your B?
I do.
So that's the question?
Am I working on my A?
Yeah.
Not at this time.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Todd?
No, I think that's it.
All right.
Just want to emphasize that as a part of coach licensing, that there's also a first aid and child welfare SCARS training component outside of the technical and tactical coaching element that is required in order to get Bermuda Football Association coaching
Is
license.
that done within the course, or it's done separately from the course?
Separately from the course.
Okay.
Well, however, if there's enough participants that are in need, then we can make a connection for the participants to be able to get that training. So I know the SCARS training is very frequent, and then the first aid, if we had sufficient numbers to put in a request, then that'll be.
So the SCARS training the onus is on the individual, or does that?
Well, the Coaches Association will actually work to schedule the SCARS certification and the first aid certification for all of the course candidates who are ongoing right now. So that would be the C license candidates as well as these D license. But many of these coaches will have some of these certifications already because a lot of the clubs have been proactive with regards to ensuring that their coaches are SCARS certified and doing the necessary first aid. So anybody that is deficient, they would have completed the coaching education aspect, but in order to be certified with the licensing, they would need to show that they have completed those two modules to the BFA.
As the president of the Bermuda Football Coaches Association, are you happy with the way things are going right now?
I think this is good for us. It's progress. You know, we continue to move forward. I think that it's a step by step, and as long as that we have the dialogue and you can see the working partnership and the support between the BFA and the BFCA, like I said, it's bringing the coaches more into the fold, ensuring that the coaches have a voice, because the natural progression is for a coach, once you become a member of the coaching association, is maybe to look to become involved, to move towards becoming a coaching educator, to maybe look to get involved within the administration and the leadership of the association itself. So I think we've made good strides as to where we were within the past few years.